Yeah. Yeah. Well said. I'm glad you brought up this load and the coil and his stride, right? Well,
Hmm.
let's talk a little bit about a couple of his fundamentals.
Hmm.
His stride, his load, his coil. Stride is a little bit different. He's coiling a lot there. He's not really
Hmm.
stepping as, say, a Stanton would, smaller step, a
Hmm.
LeMahieu would, a Josh Donaldson with a big leg kick, for example. You
Yeah.
can tell when he lifts up that front foot that he's coiling, right? And correct me if I'm
Hmm.
wrong on any of this here.
Yeah. No,
What do
he
you
really gets
what do you
into
make
his
of his
back
stride?
hip.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he really loads his back knee and his back hip a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of looks stiff and rigid, if you were just looking at him compared to a Harper, who's very smooth, or Stanton's kind of stiff too, and he just kind of picks it up and puts it down. So it's a structured move, I guess that's the best way to say it. Like it looks very mechanical and rigid, but it works really, really well. And because he does it early and slow, it's totally fine. He's not jumping. If you have kind of a rigid move and you move late and you have to move fast, then bad things can happen. So his looks rigid. He doesn't obviously think it's that way, but it was just the way he was taught and the way he interpreted that move when he built in his muscle memory, that it looks like that. But it's a very good move.
Yeah.
It's just one that you have to be careful you're not late getting going.
Yeah. It's funny how people interpret different things and how communication is so important with coaching.
Yeah.
So fundamental. And we've talked about that, and so academic. We've talked about it so many times on this show, but the way he interprets that move that he has to do to get loaded and coiled, it's his way of interpreting it. Other people interpret it different ways.
Yeah. And that's what is, if you look at the guy that kind of worked with him a lot, that's their big move is loading that right leg, right hip.
Mm-hmm.
And then they, obviously do like a little snap thing with their hands and stuff, which, I'm not a huge fan of manually teaching that, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong. That's their, and you can totally see it in his low that's what he's, kind of working on.